Yo siempre voy a ser breve porque ya.
Rafael Nadal's career has come to an emotional and historic end. The legendary tennis player, who has long been celebrated for his unparalleled talent, grit, and work ethic, stood on the court one last time, overwhelmed with emotion as fans in Malaga, Spain, gave him a heartfelt standing ovation. It was the perfect send-off for a player who has been a constant presence at the top of the tennis world for over 2 decades. As Nadal played his final match during the Davis Cup quarterfinals, no one could have anticipated the wave of emotions that would flood the court after the last point. With a 6-4, 6-4 loss to Botic van de Zandschulp, Nadal's career came to a close, marking the end of an era in the sport. His tears were a testament to the weight of the moment, a culmination of a journey that saw him rise from a young boy with a dream to one of the greatest athletes in history. After the final point, there was a silence in the air before the eruption of applause, as if the entire crowd collectively acknowledged that they had just witnessed the closing chapter of a legendary career. It was fitting that Nadal's last match was in Spain, his home country, where his journey began and where his career had its most profound impact. The roar of the crowd was not only a recognition of Nadal's athletic prowess but also a celebration of his character, humility, and the love he has for the game. As he wiped away his tears, the overwhelming sense of gratitude that he felt was clear to all in attendance. In that moment, Nadal was not just the man who had won 22 Grand Slams or conquered the French Open a record 14 times, but he was simply Rafa, the boy from Mallorca who had dreamed big and worked tirelessly to achieve those dreams. Standing on the court, Nadal was clearly moved. The enormity of what he had accomplished in his career was starting to sink in, but he also seemed at peace with the decision to retire. His reflection on the journey was not one of arrogance or boasting, but one of genuine appreciation. "The way I would like to be remembered more is a good person from a small village in Mallorca," Nadal said through tears. "Just a kid who followed his dreams, worked as hard as possible to be what I am today." It was a humble sentiment, reflecting the person that Nadal has always been, someone who never lost sight of where he came from, despite all the accolades and recognition he received over the years. Even in the height of his career, Nadal remained grounded, never allowing his success to overshadow his love for his roots and his people. Born and raised in the picturesque town of Manacor, on the island of Mallorca, Spain, Nadal's journey to the top of tennis was not an easy one. Growing up in a family deeply immersed in sports, he was introduced to tennis at a very young age. His uncle, Tony Nadal, played an instrumental role in shaping Rafael's game, teaching him not just the technical aspects of tennis but also the mental fortitude required to succeed. Nadal's family, including his parents and sister, have always been a source of unwavering support. Their belief in his potential fueled his desire to push forward, even when faced with challenges. His rise to prominence was not without setbacks. Early in his career, Nadal struggled with injuries, a challenge that would continue to accompany him throughout his career. Yet, his ability to bounce back, to dig deeper than most could even imagine, became his hallmark. It was this combination of physical resilience and mental strength that made Nadal stand out, and it is what earned him the respect of fans and competitors alike. It wasn't just Nadal's determination that made him great. It was also his exceptional skill. His unique playing style, marked by powerful ground strokes, incredible footwork, and an unrivaled work ethic, made him a formidable opponent on all surfaces but especially on clay. Nadal's dominance on the red clay courts of Roland Garros is unparalleled. With 14 French Open titles under his belt, he established a legacy that will likely never be surpassed. His passion for the game and his intensity on the court were infectious, creating an atmosphere where fans could feel the energy of his play even from the stands. The sight of Nadal, drenched in sweat, battling through every point, was a spectacle that made him one of the most beloved athletes in the world. Throughout his career, Nadal formed legendary rivalries with other giants of the sport. His battles with Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and Andy Murray captivated tennis fans for years, with each match between them adding to the lore of tennis history. Federer, with his grace and elegance, and Djokovic, with his all-around precision and versatility, were the perfect counterparts to Nadal's raw power and relentless determination. Their matches were never just about the scoreline. They were about the will to win, the drive to be the best, and the mutual respect each player had for one another. Nadal's fierce rivalry with Federer in particular is one of the most iconic in tennis history. Their encounters were often emotional, marked by moments of brilliance, and they would go down in history as some of the greatest matches ever played. And yet, despite the intensity of these rivalries, Nadal never lost sight of the bigger picture. He always respected his opponents and acknowledged that they, too, pushed him to be better, to work harder, and to evolve as a player. His career was not just about winning titles. It was about setting records, breaking barriers, and leaving an indelible mark on the sport. Nadal's achievements are staggering. He earned 22 Grand Slam singles titles, cementing his place among the all-time greats in tennis. His accomplishments span the breadth of the tennis world, from his record-breaking 14 French Open titles to his multiple victories at Wimbledon, the US Open, and the Australian Open. Nadal also earned 92 ATP-level singles titles and remains the player with the longest single-surface win streak in the Open era at 81 consecutive wins. The numbers alone are staggering, but what truly sets Nadal apart is the way he achieved them. He did not simply rely on his physical attributes or raw talent. Nadal achieved his success through an unwavering commitment to his craft. He was known for his tireless work ethic, his ability to push his body and mind beyond their limits, and his refusal to give in even in the face of adversity. In his retirement announcement on October 10th, Nadal reflected on the journey that had brought him to this point. "In this life, everything has a beginning and an end," Nadal said. "And I think it's an appropriate time to put an end to a career that has been long and much more successful than I could have ever imagined." His words carried the weight of a man who had seen and done it all. For Nadal, retirement was not about stepping away from the sport reluctantly. It was about recognizing that he had given everything he had to the game. His physical body, battered by years of intense competition, no longer allowed him to perform at the level he once had. But in the end, Nadal seemed at peace with his decision. He had achieved more than most could dream of in a lifetime, and now it was time to step away and enjoy the next phase of his life. As Nadal looks toward the future, it is impossible not to wonder what the next chapter holds. Although his tennis career has come to a close, it's clear that Nadal's influence on the sport will continue for years to come. He has already begun to take on a more prominent role as a mentor and advocate for the next generation of tennis players. Nadal has always been passionate about giving back to the game that gave him so much, and his work off the court, particularly through his Rafael Nadal Academy, is a testament to that. His academy, located in Mallorca, has become a hub for young players from around the world, where they can receive world-class training and learn the values of discipline, perseverance, and sportsmanship that Nadal himself embodies. Beyond tennis, Nadal is also involved in various philanthropic endeavors, and it's likely that he will continue to use his platform to make a positive impact on the world. His charitable foundation has supported numerous causes, including healthcare, education, and social equality, and Nadal has expressed a desire to continue his work in these areas as he transitions into life after tennis.